I'm going to be completely honest with you. Most companies aren't ready for the next phase of go-to-market engineering and RevOps. And it's not because they're lazy. It's not because they don't care. It's because the game has changed, right? So and things are moving so fast that playbooks that people are still using were written for a completely different world. The tools are evolving, AI is evolving, data is getting smarter, um, sellers are noisier than ever. But most go-to-market systems, they're still running as if it's 2021. And the craziest thing is that things may look like they're working on the surface, but reply rates are down. Um, leads might be coming in and the dashboard might look a little bit busy. But underneath, performance is like quietly declining. Like data is decaying, pipeline is way harder to generate than it used to be. And over the last few years, I've been inside a few different go-to-market systems across multiple industries. And I've seen the same pattern over and over again. Teams think they have a go-to-market engine, but what they actually have is just a bunch of disconnected tools being manually held together by people. Now, in this video, I want to show you why that model is breaking and the shifts that are happening right now so you can stay ahead instead of finding out the hard way when the results suddenly drop. Right, so why listen to me? Now, I've spent the last few years building go-to-market systems across a few different industries. So this includes cybersecurity, niche local marketing agencies, creative agencies, financial firms, high-ticket and B2B services providers. And when I say go-to-market systems, I don't mean just doing outbound campaigns and blasting cold emails. I'm talking about an AI-powered, automated, um, signal-driven pipeline system that is designed to actually scale without breaking, to be autonomous almost. The kind of system that doesn't just book you meetings when things are easy, but they keep generating pipeline consistently for you because the foundations behind the system is so solid. And that's why I'm making this video, and why I will continue to make videos like this. This is a bit of a theory-based video, but I will be doing more practical and more deeper breakdowns inside Clay. But the whole purpose is that I want to help more teams move forward away from these manual, fragile go-to-market setups and towards more technical, more integrated, more modern, and engineered systems that actually support your growth instead of like holding you back. Now, forgive me because I am a little bit poorly, but I thought it was important for me to get this video out. Cool. So the big picture is this: the way most companies run go-to-market and RevOps today, it was designed, like I said earlier, for a world that's almost non-existent. What potentially worked 12 months ago is already failing or is less effective than it once was. And that's not because the market's crashed, but it's because the systems behind it, you're not keeping up with current demands. People want more. People are expecting more because we have the ability to do more, especially now the rise of AI. And for me, in my opinion, anyway, from things I've seen, things I've been thinking about over this season, there are five big shifts happening right now that explain why. Now, first and foremost, and this relates to go-to-market engineering and robots specifically. So first and foremost, outbound expertise on its own, it's just not enough. Like you're not a go-to-market engineer if you just run outbound campaigns. If that was the case, we'd be go-to-market engineers way before Clay was invented. We were already been doing this. Like we had GPT sheets. Just because we have the ability to clean and run some personalization and push it into a campaign, does that make us go-to-market engineers? I don't think so. And on top of this, AI is evolving faster than everybody's playbooks. So what does that mean? Like, is there any dedicated person that's focused on these new advancements, focused on making sure that your go-to-market motion is not only effective but also competitive? Is everyone thinking about that? On top of that, tools became platforms. So everything is API first now, or should be. Like, gone are the days where it's almost optimal for someone to be manually pulling data from specific platforms. For me, it doesn't make sense. CRMs now have to think and not just store. Once upon a time, the CRM was a database, it was a data dump. Like the data is not clean, it's just somewhere for the data to live and just exist. But now, it's not just a store of data or a place to just keep it. It can truly be a source of truth. For the first time ever, it can truly be a source of truth and be actionable. I've looked under the hood of so many different CRMs and they're full of outdated, unactionable data. Sometimes I question, like, what is going on here? And finally, the builders are replacing the operators. It's not enough just to be able to operate at all. Anyone can do that. But can you build on top of it? Can you optimize it? Can you make it better? Can you, do integrations? All of this stuff matters now. It's just not enough to be able to be an operator. Now let's talk about what these shifts actually mean in a little bit more detail. All right, so let's look at the first shift. A lot of people right now call themselves quote unquote outbound experts. And to be fair, many of them are incredibly good at what they do. Incredibly good. And they know how to write sequences, they're excellent copywriters, they know how to evoke emotion in, one or three sentences. They can scrape lists, they know how to find private databases, they can enrich data, they can plug everything into Clay, Apollo, push it to instantly or smart lead. They know how to build infrastructure. And when the conditions are good, they can actually book a ridiculous amount of meetings. But that's a skill set that alone doesn't make you a go-to-market engineer. Because the go-to-market engineer is a lot deeper than that for me, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. For me, you need to have an understanding of how to build workflows. It requires to understand how revenue actually moves across the whole business, from marketing to sales to onboarding to retention. It means building workflows that work across multiple teams, not just inside one specific tool or isolated workflow. It means designing automations that can scale instead of just relying on clever hacks. It means using AI and APIs to make the system work smarter and better instead of just faster, right? It needs to be an optimized system, not a system that's just put together for the sake of it. It means designing the pipelines. So when you push harder, the system doesn't break. Like things are built for scalability. And outbound is just one piece of the puzzle. Like, sending cold emails is just one piece of that puzzle. A very important one because it directly relates to revenue. But go to market engineering is the entire system that makes revenue predictable. And like in 2016, that difference is everything. Like I can't stress this. And this is why, like, Clay came up with the term go to market alpha. You can only have go to market alpha if you're truly building go to market engineer. If you're truly building go to market, if you're truly building a modern go to market system, there we go, we got there. So, shift number two, AI is evolving faster than your playbooks. I don't know about you, but have you seen Claude Skills? Have you seen Cursor? It's a ridiculous technology. And this is why so many strategies feel like they just stop working out of nowhere. Or you look like you just blink, or you just rest your eyes for a second, and suddenly everyone's doing something completely different, completely better. Now, what I want you to think about is that there was a time, for example, where if you're in the industry, there was a time where social engagement was unbeatable. It was all anyone would speak about, 24/7. Social signaling this, social signaling that, and it worked. It worked very well. And if someone liked a post, commented on a thread, or commented on a post, um, you could pretty much track that activity and reach out to them. And the reply rate was insane, and the booking rate was insane too. And it still works. It's still very, very effective strategy. Um, we run it for some of our clients. I run it internally because we built our own scraper. It's incredibly cheap for us to do it at scale. But the reality is, just like many things in life that are great, everyone also starts doing it, and the results dropped. And then everyone jumped on to the overall signals, right? I'm included. And signals is still a massive part of my strategy. I track signals as a form of market intelligence. But the problem with that is that when everyone's tracking the same signals in the same categories with a very similar message, the prospects are now seeing it as not like, oh, this is timely, but incredibly noisy instead because everyone's doing and going after the same signals. One thing I will say is that there's a very powerful go-to-market or sales intelligence startup called Bird Dog, and they have just better coverage in terms of their signals. And this is not me. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but they have some of the best signal-based data that's incredibly unique too. So I would definitely check them out. My point is that everyone's chasing exact companies with the same data, the same signals, unless you're using like tools like Bird Dog or building your own signal profiles and scrapers. Now, the simple truth is that once everyone has the same playbook or the same signals, it just stops being competitive advantage. It's no longer something to be boasting about. And the companies that are winning now are the ones who build their own signal profiles. Maybe they're layering multiple data sources together. They build their own triggers inside of, um, I don't know, NAN or custom code. Instead of relying on reps to like remember to do things, everything is completely automated, right? Another example, like cold emails, another perfect example. It used to be killer. Like when I started in this industry, I've said this in a few videos. We could book a call every 1,000 emails, pretty much, easily, relatively easily. Them days are over. Typical KPI is no, sorry, forgive me. We could book a call every 300 emails, yeah, around that. Oh, sorry, we could book a call for every 300 prospects. That's better. Now, industry KPI. Average. It's a good campaign if we're hitting one positive response per 300 contacts. That's a massive decrease. Like I said, I'm not saying it doesn't work. People are going to say, skill issue. And that's great, fantastic. But data is data. Data is data. And I'll add to this, I'll be very, very surprised to see if there isn't a slight shift in the kind of services that some of these sequencers are providing in the very near future because they're aware of this. They see all the data too. They're aware. Trust me, they know. So are all the go-to-market or cold email agencies too. They know and they're aware. You'll see that a lot of go-to-market guys are going to be offering warm calling, cold calling, as they should, because the mechanism that we once, you know, prioritized is showing diminishing returns. That's just it. Anyone that says otherwise is lying to you. And this brings us back to that comment about go-to-market alpha. Um, we can now, because of access to data, tools like Cursor, um, building your own models and AI, we can now have incredibly creative go-to-market motions. AI and automation has changed what's possible. Like prototyping is cheap, testing is fast. Like we can give up like front end offers, technical front end offers, 100% unique to every single prospect. That was never a possibility before. That would take months of development cost and time. Now we can do it literally in 5 minutes if we want. So it's just different now. Testing is fast. You know, iteration is also non-stop. All right, now shift number 3. The tools stopped being tools and they became platforms. So what do I mean by this? We've entered a new era of software where most modern go-to-market tools are no longer just apps that you just log into. They're built to connect, extend, and automate. And I actually posted on LinkedIn about this. The best tools today are AI native, first and foremost. They're API first and integration ready. And they're designed from day one to power workflows, to actually be integrated into your platforms, into your CRM, into your go-to-market motions, direct integrations. A few years back, we were lucky to get something like this. You would have to pay an arm and a leg to these legacy platforms just to get API access. And it always confused me. I used to always think like, surely you're missing out on people that just want access to API. But I think we're beginning to see this shift anyway. They were like incredibly expensive. They were gated and just ridiculously expensive to access. Like I was speaking to a sales leader and one of my clients, in fact, and like she was telling me about the ridiculous cost that she was spending on a specific platform just for one data. And then they tried to then charge it even more for API access. And the number was quite concerning, actually. And the truth is this, though. Today, the APIs are open, they're cheap, um, as they should be, in my opinion. Well, not that it should be. Obviously, it depends on the platform, the data quality, and stuff like that. But my point is that this completely changes the question go-to-market teams should be asking. So, like old go-to-market sounded like this: does this tool have the feature that we need? Modern go-to-market sounds like this: can this tool plug into our system and trigger some form of automation? And that's because the value is no longer in using the tool. The value is how you connect it into your design. The go-to-market is changing forever. Everyone wants integration. You have to be a little bit more technical than you have ever been. Shift number 4. CRMs now have to think, not just store. So CRMs can't just store information anymore. They have to be active. They have to be dynamic. They have to think. Most companies still treat their go-to-market system like, you know, you set up once and then maintain everything when you feel like it. But the market isn't static. Buyers change tools all the time. Teams restructure and budgets move. Um, and employees leave. New signals appear every single day. Old ones stop being meaningful. Leads decay every single month. Like so much is happening in the market and within your organization. Meanwhile, the CRM is supposed to be a source of truth, but it's not usually telling much truth. It's not saying much. Nothing is happening inside the CRM for it to be a source of truth. The data has been untouched for months. It hasn't been updated. It hasn't been cleaned. People have messed about with the data. Records are outdated. Job titles are wrong. Key decision makers are missing. Um, Information is missing. They all sit in stages with no context. There's no notes from calls. Nobody's really seeing the real buying signals behind the numbers. They don't even know why someone closed. There could be a signal that you could have tracked. You could have said, aha, okay, this signal, typically when someone is showing this, they close faster. That's just one example of many. And here's the problem, right? If your system doesn't update itself, it quietly falls behind. Like I think what's the statistic? Like every single year, 20% of CRM data becomes obsolete. And I actually remember someone commented on my LinkedIn post when I posted that statistic, and they said, "That's it." And I was like, "That's it? 20% of your data? You think that's a small amount? Like, that's a ridiculous amount of data to lose, to decay. Like, it's a ridiculous amount of data to be inaccurate. Crazy amount. Depending on your ticket size, depending on the size of the organization, how much data you're storing in your CRM, that could be millions of dollars. It could be tens of millions of dollars. And this is the difference between, having a static system and a living system. The static system, it relies on manual updates, one-time setups, style enrichment, blind outbound, slow feedback loops. But the living system, it constantly enriches. It pulls in real-time signals, which is a form of market intelligence. It tracks your existing, um, client base. It routes things based on behavior and priority and skill set. Um, it even corrects the data that is obviously decaying or has decayed. So this is how it would look like, right? So you have your enrichment, validation, and scoring. It would go into Clay, it would update the CRM, and it's just a cycle again and again and again. It doesn't have to happen every day; that'd be incredibly expensive. But it can happen monthly, quarterly, whatever's the priority. My point is that your go-to-market system should function more like a living organism than like a spreadsheet. And the teams who actually get this, they're going to get faster results, smarter results, and they're going to have more reliable months if they start implementing this form of go-to-market motion. And the last one, builders are replacing operators. So for years, go-to-market teams were built around operators. So people could learn maybe one tool or run the tools, follow the playbooks, build the list, send the campaigns, generally just keep things moving. Now, their question was always, what should I send next? But today, the real leverage belongs to the builders, in my opinion. But I could be biased, who knows? And the builders, they are designing workflows. They're doing the process mapping. They're connecting the system together. They're creating automation logic. They're building the architect pipelines end to end. They are building the signal models and turning it into pipeline. They are running the campaigns. They are integrating AI into workflows. They're performing automated research for existing SDRs. And this is all done, without, necessarily any human intervention. Although, like, the go-to-market engineer is human in the back end, maybe working in a collaborative team. And I do believe in a human-based go-to-market system, not necessarily a full-fledged automated system, but I do feel like there needs to be humans involved. I do believe you should be on the phone, but naturally you meet your prospects wherever they spend their time. But my point is this: my point is there is a different question, and I guess that's like, how do I design this so it runs itself? Um, and like typically the operators they're gonna scale with effort. So the once upon a time, the solution was like, let's just hire more people. That's how we scale it. But now the builders they scale with the system. We scale the system. We build a system that is capable of that scale. So one strong go-to-market engineer, or maybe a few, one or two, or like I'll say maybe one go-to-market engineer and a RevOps specialist, for example. They can replace layers and layers of manual operational work. Gone just like that. On top of building your pipeline with automated outbound campaigns, on top of doing automated research, on top of engaging your inbound leads. Before anyone's even had to speak to them, you've got hot, warm leads. And this is why I believe go-to-market engineering is quietly replacing and evolving beyond traditional RevOps. I think it does sit within RevOps as a function, but RevOps used to maintain the system. They clean the data sometimes, tweak the process sometimes. Sometimes they may have fixed the dashboard. Like they worked like inside the machine. But I think the bar is much higher now. The go-to-market engineers, they design the machine, they build the automations, they scrape the data, they own revenue operations and generate pipeline and centralize everything into one intelligent go-to-market system. So the go-to-market engineer isn't support. It's about building that engine and collaborating with other like RevOps teams to build that. So if you are building a HubSpot and you want to create something like this, like this is exactly what you want to create. This is what we help people build on HubSpot do. We build the go-to-market alpha systems for them. We make sure that the data is actionable, centralized, automated, signal-driven, and designed to produce pipeline. So if that's the kind of thing that you're looking for, let's chat. Apart from that, thank you for watching and have a good day. Love you lots.